Hey guys, Nicole Brantley here. Let's see. I'm gonna give y'all opportunity to come into the room because I know that Instagram has to alert you that I'm live. But I want to talk to you guys about something that happened to me today, and I want to hear your thoughts on what you think about essentially the sick care system. So I'm going to share this with a few people, and let's see if you guys hop on. Let's see. All right. Hello. Welcome to the live. All right, I'm just going to jump in and get started. And as people come in, I'll just catch them up. So I'm in the process of getting licensed for something that I'm embarking on. And as a requirement, I had to get a physical, because I'm my own doctor. I had to get a physical with a PCP, a primary care physician, because they had to sign off on a certain paperwork. And so I couldn't go to urgent care. Like, I had all these restrictions, right? So long story short, I get an appointment for me and my son with a PCP. And the nurse practitioner was very sweet. Really liked her, all of the things. And so I'm self-pay because, like I said, I'm my own doctor. So I don't carry insurance. They don't cover anything that I want. It's just not the system for me. When you do things holistically, it's not in alignment with what it is that I prefer to do. Right? So, I go and I'm like, okay, I'm here for this physical. And so she's like, okay, we're going to get labs for your kidneys, for your thyroid, I'm like, ma'am, we really don't need to do all of that. Like, I made my payment already, and I'm well aware that all of these extra labs are additional fees, and I'm not interested, right? Like, if I want to come back at a later date and do all of that, like right now I'm here to get this paperwork signed because this is the last thing holding up my process. And she was sweet, I wasn't rude to her, anything like that. So, and then came you need to take these vaccines. Decline. You cannot inject good health, and I don't ever go in doctor's offices like, oh, I'm, this is who I am and this is what I know. I never do that. Like, never go in any place and step on anybody's toes or make them feel like you're in competition with them or more than that. Like, I don't do that. Always a student, right? Because I am the patient today. So I don't ever come in there with that attitude. Now, you ask me questions, I'm going to answer them. How do you eat? Oh, okay. I keep my day mostly raw till about 4:00. I don't have cooked food before then. I usually have smoothies and juices and lemon water, or, just explaining my day. She's like, oh, wow, you're on it. How many liters of water you drink? Wow, that's exactly how many you should be drinking. And, she knew that I knew what I was talking about based on that part of the conversation. So long story short, hey Arvella, long story short, that was me, right? So she was going back and forth with me about what she wanted to know from me and things of that nature. And I think I had a point. What was I going to say? But anyways, she just told me, like, with your age, it's time for a mammogram. I'm like, I'm not taking a mammogram. Nobody's smashing my breast. That is cancer causing. We can look into thermography, right? I don't have breast cancer I shouldn't say run. No one on my mother's side has had a breast cancer diagnosis. One of my dad's sisters does. So of course, when you say that it's somebody like an aunt or a grandmother or a parent, they're going to want to monitor that closely. And I was like, I eat very different than my family does. And I understand internal terrain and how cancer works and what causes cancer or creates cancer, all of that stuff, right? So I was like, I'm not signing up for a mammogram. We can talk thermography, but that's really it. All right. She was respectful or whatever. So that was me. So my son's appointment followed mine, same doctor. And right before she came in, she started to ask me questions about him, and she was like, oh, and is he vaccinated? And I was like, he's not. And she was like, oh, I'll be able to do his WellCare check today, but that's it. I can't take him on as a patient. I can't see him if he's not vaccinated. Is that not discriminatory? Like, do we not have a choice? My body, my choice. My kid, my decisions. So I said to her, well, you can't inject good health. There's nothing healthy about a vaccine. It's poison, in my opinion, and I'm not vaccinating him. So she was like, well, we'll do the WellCare check, and that's all we can do. And I mean, that physical was so basic, especially for the kind of money that I spent. It was so basic. I didn't even take off my clothes. That's how basic it was. But she did the WellCare check for him, and she gave me this list, and she was like, if you have a change of heart as far as getting him some vaccinations on a delay or on a different schedule than what they're recommended, then I can see him. Absolutely not. Like, you're not going to make me change my mind. I'm not going to fold. But the reason why I'm venting to you guys is because I feel like it's discriminatory. So you want me to purchase your insurance, right? But then you don't like what I don't want. I have to get what you say I have to get. Like, where they do that at? That doesn't work for me. That does not work for me. But I feel like it's very discriminatory. So, his dad pays for his insurance, and no, I'm in North Carolina. And you mean to tell me that you're saying that you can't see him in your group or in your network because you guys don't allow kids to not be vaccinated in order to see them? So when she was on my chart, she was just like, I don't see any you're not going to see no COVID vaccines. Decline. Like, you can't inject good health. I wanted to say so bad, but I did not want to come across as rude. Do you know how many people I know? Do you know how many people you know who got the shot, 2 shots, the boosters, who are very ill or who are dead? Let's just keep it a buck. They're not here. They're no longer here. I know quite a few. And for me, it's just like, you're not going to bully me into getting your vaccinations. And she wasn't doing that. She was very nice. She really, really was. Like, when I go get my blood pressure taken, and anytime I see a doctor, I'll ask for my pressure to be taken in both arms, which, you guys, my blood pressure was pretty much close to perfect. One was like 122 over 78, and the other one was like 120 over 78. I think that's what they both were at the bottom. Which you want. 120 over 80 is perfect blood pressure. So she was like, my God, this is like close to perfect. So, but you want to inject your poison in me. Why would I do that? But I'm saying all of this to say, like, we have got to stop getting coerced into doing things that we're not comfortable with doing. Tiffany says my daughter's pediatrician did the same thing. And, like, to say, well, I'll give you this list. And when she gave me the list, it didn't say that anybody was going to take him based on not having it. What it said is they would take you based on a delayed or alternative schedule. He's not getting it at all. Poison is poison, whether you put it in slowly or not. But that's not what we're doing. And I feel like to not respect a parent's wish or what they're advocating for their child is crazy to me. But this proves to us, that it is a sick care system, because those things that they are pushing and promoting are going to bring sickness so that you can be in their office writing your prescriptions. I mean, the lady who took my pressure, the nurse that took my pressure and, asked those initial questions before the doctor comes in is like, which pharmacy? Why are we talking about a pharmacy? Because they're already planning on giving you prescriptions. Crazy, right? Let me take a sip of water. So to me, I'm just like, I know it's all by design. It's all a setup. But I just had to come on and just have this conversation because At the end of the day, I need people to understand you are powerful enough to heal yourself. Speak up for yourself, advocate for yourself. If you don't want to do something, do not do it. I have so many women sending me Jessica Pettaway's story, the young lady who I believe, don't quote me on her age. She was young. She had 2 young girls, a husband who is now gone. She passed away a couple of days ago. Stage 3 cervical cancer. She kept going to the hospital, kept going. She's been going to the hospital since 2022. Extreme heavy bleeding, passing clots the size of placentas, talking about how much pain she was in, blood transfusion after blood transfusion after blood transfusion. And they were saying that it was a fibroid. Well, upon further looking, they couldn't even see her cervix, and it was a mass. And that's what, when they went in to take a look, that's when they woke her up and was like, oh yeah, stage 3 cervical cancer, and just said it like it was super regular, right? And my heart hurts because she did not have to die. Cancer is not a death sentence. Okay. And I do understand that she was in the beauty industry. My personal opinion, I feel like tons of makeup contributes to cancer. Okay, because of all the carcinogens that are laced in it. We have 11 that we know of, ingredients that are placed in our makeup products here, including lead in our lipstick, that's allowed in this country that are totally banned in other countries. So that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. I don't really know her well. I pretty much found out about her with so many people sharing her story with me, like, oh my God, did you hear about this girl and her cervical cancer? And I read the story and I, went through a little bit of her stuff, but she didn't have to die, right? But we're dealing with Western medicine. They had no solution for her. They're not giving her anything to treat the root cause of her issue. They're band-aiding and sending her home, band-aiding and sending her home. She's bleeding out, found passed out, not breathing. Her husband calling on Jesus to bring her back, and she came back that time, right? But it's because, oh, it's just a fibroid. Oh, it's normal. Oh, heavy bleeding is normal. Heavy bleeding is not normal. My current detox group that's going on right now, that is what we're talking about, focusing on period repair. Your heavy bleeding is not normal. It is a sign that there are loads of toxicity and acidity present in your womb space. Don't ever let a doctor tell you what you're not feeling. Don't ever let a doctor tell you what you're thinking or what your intuition is telling you is wrong. You go to them and they ask you, what are you experiencing? You are your own doctor. Okay? Stop letting people push you into chemo and chemo pills and this and that and the third if that's not what you want in your heart, because it's poison. It's a slow death. I know so many women who have gotten chemotherapy and radiation for breast cancer, survive for 6 to 7 years, and then they die of lung cancer because the radiation radiated their lungs, and the radiation is still in your body unless you give it a way out. Okay? So for me, hearing the words, oh, I can't take your son on as a patient because he's not vaccinated and you're not willing to give him any vaccines, I don't give a damn. I want to be here anyway. It's a part of the licensing process that I'm embarking on for something that I'm getting ready to do. And a physical was required, and I couldn't see an urgent care doctor, and I couldn't see, I had all these restrictions. I had to see a primary care physician. So I was grateful that we got into the office in the time frame that we got in, because it was like the last leg of the paperwork before whatever needs to be submitted for everything to get turned around. And so I'm super grateful, right? And I don't knock allopathy, and the doctor was very sweet. I mean, she was not in, was that a mosquito that just came into my car? She was not in disagreement with what I'm saying, but she's at work. That is her job. What her job says she has to do, that's what she has to do, and I respect that. But I also expect for my wishes to be respected as well. And that's just not something that we're going to do. Okay. But I felt like it was discrimination in that moment. Oh, we can't see you. We can't bring you on as a patient because you're unwilling to do this thing that we want you to do. It's my body. It's my choice. All right. I don't know why I'm saying the connection is poor. I'm outside. I got all my bars. But anyways, I'm back. So yeah, so I just wanted you guys' opinion. I just wanted you to chime in and tell me how you feel about that. This sick care system is designed to keep us sick. They want to know what pharmacy we want to have on file. They want to know, all of these negative things. And they want to know if You're going to get you're due for, I'm like, lady, whatever vaccination is saying I'm due for, I'm not doing it. And you're due for a mammogram due to your age, I'm not smashing my breast. That's how you get cancer. Okay. So if there was any kind of cyst or anything formed in the breast, and then you go to do a mammogram and you smash it and you utilize that radiation all you need is a thermogram. Use thermography to detect heat and then look further. You do not need a mammogram. But we're just not in the know. And that's crazy to me. What did you say, Tiffany? It'd be the insurance company. My pediatrician, before my kids got dropped, told me the insurance company refused to pay on unvaccinated kids. And that's fine. Let me keep my money. Because guess what, Tiffany? So my son has insurance, right, through his dad. I'm self-paid because I don't have insurance because I'm my own doctor. My bill was a fraction of the price. So that's the other thing. Like, when you are self-pay and you don't have insurance, you're spending pennies on a dollar. It doesn't cost that much, to be honest with you. And I learned this years ago, like 10 years ago, when my son was a baby, going through lots of things, dealing with eczema, helping him heal from all of this stuff. And I had this pediatrician who I pissed her off because she was trying to send me to hematology and oncology. And I was like, my son does not have cancer and I'm not going. But I was in between jobs. And so I was in between insurances. One was ending and a new one would be picking up. So I had to pay a few things out of pocket. And they were like, oh, she's self-pay. Oh, the bill was like 75% off, 50% off of what an insured person would pay. Why would you do that? Absolutely not. So I say all of that to say this sick care system is designed to keep us sick. It is designed for us to do what we are told. Don't ask questions. Don't challenge your doctor. There's a bug in my car, y'all. Don't challenge your doctor. And do what you're told. And I'm just not that kind of person. So respectfully, I declined, and respectfully, I let her know, I appreciate you seeing my son for this wellness check. I'm not changing my mind about the schedule of vaccination. So it's fine that you can't take him on as a patient. We're really only here for this licensure process. And because we were required to get this physical, that's really why we were here. So there's no hard feelings. Thank you so much for doing your job. Truly appreciate it. Got to see what my blood pressure levels were, because I really don't check that often, because I know that I do the right thing. So I'm not constantly going in to check. The only thing I will say is them scales is a little unbalanced. All right. They be adding a little, almost 10 pounds. I'm like, this weight is not right. I'm like, this is not what my scale says at home. Sick care is right. So I just wanted you guys to chime in and let me know what your thoughts were. If you're just hopping on, I was sharing how I am my own doctor. I generally do not go and see primary care physicians. Today I saw a nurse practitioner because of the process that I'm going through to get licensed for something. A PCP was required to sign off on the paperwork that I needed. Anything to make you feel bad about your body. Exactly. And it's so sad. And so she was telling me all of the things that I need that I was kind of like turning down. I'm like, I'm not getting any vaccinations. I don't care that I'm 10 years out of balance for some whatever shot. I'm like, I don't take those. I don't inject poison. I don't bring acidity into my environment. This is an organic temple, and we're keeping poison out, right? You know, I don't go to places and be like, I'm a holistic doctor. I don't do that. I'm a patient. I'm Nicole Brantley. I don't need to go in there as Dr. Nicole Brantley. Listen, she asked me questions. I shed light on what I do. She knew what it was. She was like, oh, you're very well informed. Yeah. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're not doing. And when it came to my son, before she brought him in, she asked if he was up to date on his vaccinations. And I said, in fact, he hasn't had, he did receive a few as a baby because my mom begged me to get a couple. But that's what sparked his severe eczema and had us on a 2-year spiral of doing all kinds of all kinds of stuff, right? I'm at my son's basketball practice, and I'm in my car because I had to have this conversation and get this off my chest. But when I said he wasn't caught up with his vaccination, she was like, oh, I can do his well care check today, but I can't bring him on as a patient. And I just felt it was very discriminatory because I don't want to put poison in my son's body. You can't bring him on as a patient. It's fine because I don't come here anyway. You know, and a lot of people will side-eye me for that. Like, you don't have a doctor, you don't have insurance, it's not in alignment with what I do and what I believe. So no, And it's not foreign to me. And I don't care other people's opinions. Like, I stand 10 toes down on my square. Nobody can knock me off, because I know what I know about the body, and I understand what I understand about the chemistry of the body, and everything Western medicine offers. Nothing you leave there with. You leave with a robust sense of health. Nothing. When you're sick and you go in the hospital, you don't come out stronger. You come out weaker, because you've been given prescription drugs your whole time there, right? I already know what it is. What do you do for yourself to keep up with your health? I eat properly. I eat a diet that's primarily high raw. I keep cooked food to a minimum. I do not consider myself a vegan. I do have seafood sometimes in the summer months with family. I do partake in meat here and there, once or twice throughout the year. Not something that I do often. So I don't consider myself a vegan. And vegan is a term that I don't like titles, right? Like, I don't like to be placed in this umbrella, because most vegans are junk food vegans. They're eating Impossible burgers. They're eating Beyond Meat. They're eating all the vegan junk foods. And that's not healthy either. Those are made in a lab, bringing inflammation to the body, just like meat is, and eggs and dairy and starches and grains and all of that stuff, right? So more plant-based, but really high raw, right? That's what I do on a daily basis. And so when you do that, you maintain your wellness, you maintain your health. And I'm always detoxing. Excuse me, I have detox groups going on pretty much all the time, and I pretty much detox with all of my groups. I mono, fruit, eat. All of the things that I teach, I practice. So that is how I keep my health in check. But yeah, so I just wanted to talk about that, because I just was like so taken aback by, like, I can't take you on as a patient because you won't inject poison in your body. I was like, well, you can't inject good health. So it is what it is. You know, the appointment served its purpose. I needed what I needed. I got that. And when I was in the room by myself before we brought my son in for his appointment, you know, the padding of, like, you got to get this lab, you got to get this lab, your thyroid, your kidneys, your this, your that. I'm like, I'm not here for all of that today. We're not padding my bill. I already paid before I came back here. And I paid for the visit that I'm having. I understand that labs are separate, and that is a whole nother bill. And so she was like, well, I can go get the pricing for you. And nobody at the lab would answer the phone. So she's like, I just put all of your stuff in pending, and you can call them up and find out how much each lab is and what your bill would look like, and blah, 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 blah. But I'm like, give somebody else to do it. Not down with it. Not down with it at all. But we have to take a stand for our own health. We have to advocate for ourselves. Stop letting people coerce you into doing things that you really want to say no to, right? I'm seeing way too many people, well, my doctor said, so I did. You know, my doctor diagnosed me with this, and then they had me on chemo the next week. You don't let anybody make you do anything. You have the complete autonomy to do your due diligence for however long you want. Let them know I'm researching other alternatives to chemo. Chemo is nothing but poison, nothing but. Hair falls out, skin wrinkles up. Like, listen to your body. How is your body responding to it? Is hair loss positive? That is straight up like putting Drano in your body. It's acid. It is acid, and it is killing everything, and it's still not addressing the root issue. Acid on top of acid. Okay, thank you for sharing this. This system is all about profit, not our health. Exactly. And that's why on most days I'm like, what other country should I go and live in? Because it's a freaking joke over here. It is comical. Our food system is poisoned. Our air is poisoned. Our water system is poisoned. Like, it's poison. It really, really is. And a lot of it we can't avoid. So I always tell people, where you can avoid things, do your best to. Do your best to. Because, man, we live in a very toxic world. If you live in the United States, we live in a very toxic world. You know, and Jessica Pettaway's story is really, really sad. The young lady who passed away from cancer, cervical cancer stage 3, and left 2 girls behind and her husband. It just breaks my heart, because if she had the right people around her, if she had people who understood the body, if she wasn't running to Western medicine for the answers, she would definitely still be here. Definitely still be here, by simply cleansing her body. Cancer is nothing but damaged cells, right? And if you all have not read this book, I shared this with my detox group that I'm currently hosting, with a focus on the period repair. So we're focusing on the menstruation, heavy bleeding, clotting, cramp, and all of that stuff. Read the book, The Mucusless Diet, right? Because, and I love the way Dr. Arnold Ehret puts it, like, we really don't need to give diseases names. We just really need to eat for our physiology. Anything that brings us out of balance is why we're presenting with anything. But if we eat correctly, we won't have any issues. None. It's a life-changing book. Do I need to turn my lights on in here? It is a life-changing book. Let's see. No? Really? None of my lights are turning on? I gotta turn the car on and turn the lights on? Anyways, I'm gonna go in here for the last 30 minutes or so of my son's basketball practice. But I just wanted to share that with you guys and just make sure that you know you are powerful enough to heal yourself. The start date of my next, I'm going to lie because I don't even know it. It is, if the 5th is on a Friday, the 6th is on a Saturday, the 7th is on a Sunday. It's probably going to be April 8th that my next detox program starts. And it's going to have a focus on eczema. Okay, I think I'm going to go do eczema this next round. I have so many things that I want to talk about. And I have the next 2 months lined up, I believe, and I have to get that out on the website. But it's going to be eczema. A lot of people suffer with eczema, whether it's dry eczema or weeping eczema. Just understanding it's not an issue that you want to deal with topically. You have to deal with eczema internally, right? And a lot of the times when people have eczema and they have allergies, food sensitivities, and things of that nature, they usually have asthma and all of these other things. It's really the lymphatic system. You need to address the lymphatic system. And when you address that, you get rid of the food sensitivities, you get rid of the allergies to seasonal things, whether it's the pollen or whatever, during the change of season that triggers you to have allergies. And you get rid of the skin conditions. When you're dealing with anything on the skin, it is because acids are pushing through the skin because your kidneys are not doing enough. They're not filtering out enough. The filtration is very poor. And so your third kidney, which is your largest living elimination organ, which is your skin, will start to pick up the brunt of things and start to help you to get rid of the toxins and the waste. And acid burns, right? And so you'll see redness, like with rosacea on the cheeks. You'll have itchiness. You'll see inflammation and hives or bumps or rashes, things like that. Let you know you got some cleaning up to do. And so detoxing is the really number one way to heal your body in general. One of the most effective ways. If you haven't joined one of her detoxes, please do. Highly recommend. Thank you, Tiffany. So you got to clean up the internal terrain if you have eczema. And you got to clean up the internal terrain if you don't want to be in somebody's ER, doctor's office, or when you see your doctor, you're being pushed to do this and that and the third. It's just like, I'm not discouraging anybody to get their thyroid checked or to get their kidneys checked and all of these lab checks that come with a physical. Utilize your insurance if that's what you have. I'm just telling you what I'm doing for me. I'm just telling you what works for me, right? You gotta do what's best for you. You can't do what works for other people. Do what works for you. Live in your truth, walk in your truth and power, and you will be free, right? Never be bullied or forced or coerced into doing things that you don't want to do. Listen to your intuition. And this is why we have to clean up our bodies, because that gut instinct is not present when we're too dirtied up, if you will, for lack of better words. When you're not purified and you're not cleansed, are you hearing from your gut instinct? Because when you are like on a juice fast, when you go grape fasting for 14 days, when you go on extensive fasts, pulling yourself away from food, like, you get so close. My bad, phone call came through. You get so close to God, like, you get so much clarity. It's crazy. It is amazing how much clear thinking you have. I mean, sharp mental clarity. So I always encourage people to detox, to fast, to cleanse their body, to mono fruit eat, and just and live from your higher self. Live from your higher self. I watched 2 interviews this past weekend on Jillian Berry's channel. I don't know if you know who Jillian Berry is. If you just Google her on YouTube, or not search her on YouTube, her page will pop up. But I had 2 different people who dropped my name as somebody that helped them on their healing journey. And I'm like, oh my God, like what? Like that I didn't even know. Well, I do know both of them. I shouldn't say that, but I didn't even know that they were interviewed and mentioned me. And I'm like, where are these people coming from? Because I'm getting more and more followers. I'm like, where are these people coming from? But they're hearing the video, they're listening to the names being dropped, and they're going to look for the people. And so you never know how you're helping people. You never know who's listening. And so this is why I constantly stay before you guys, operate in my truth, tell you what I know, share everything, because what purpose is it to hold it and keep it to myself? But I just had to share. Your body, your choice, right? My body, my choice, and nobody's gonna bully me into anything different. So stand on your own 2 feet, even when you're dealing with your doctors. Not that you have to know more than them, not that you have to, just because it's your body and your choice. And if you don't feel good about a thing, or your gut instinct is saying, I wouldn't do that, don't do it. Take the time to research. Reach out to people like myself who can give you further insight on a holistic way to do it, or on a holistic way to do things. My mom was sharing that she had my mom's retired, so she goes to this little center every day with other people her age, and they engage in all kinds of amazing activities, jewelry making, all kinds of fun things that they do, exercising. They bring people in for them to know different things. And there were some people that came in with hemp CBD and was educating them on certain things. And I guess they asked in the room about like people getting sick a lot, and are you in pain? Do you have joint pain and stiffness and this and that? And my mom's like, my daughter's an herbalist, and let me tell you, I never got COVID. She had me on these herbs, for the duration, before, during, and after, and I never got it, right? Because we're constantly strengthening our tissues. We're constantly giving our body the things that it needs. Do you take zinc daily? Are you on a B12 liquid supplement under your tongue? Like, what are you doing daily to strengthen your health? Are you eating right? Are you drinking enough water to flush things, to help eliminate, right? What are you doing? Because I cringe when I look anywhere I go. I'm looking at America, and America is obese. Everybody's eating fast food. Everybody's eating junk food. Everybody's addicted to sugar and to meats and to dairy and to starches and to fried foods and to all of these things that really affect your brain and body. And we do it unknowingly. Like, we're so disconnected from nature, we don't even know that we're violating it. Right? All right. I don't want this to come through the car. Let me see if I can turn it. Okay, there goes the lights. I'm like, it's getting dark outside. So that's all I had to say, you guys. Just be your own advocate. Know what you want to do. Stand in your truth and say no when you need to say no. Right? Say no when you need to say no. If you're just tuning in, be sure to go back and watch the replay. I am going to leave it up. I was just talking my body, my choice, as it relates to going to see a primary care physician, to finish up a licensing process that I'm going through for something. And a physical was a part of it, and what happened to me and my son at that doctor's appointment. So you all have a wonderful night. If you're interested in the detox program, stay tuned. That link's going to be up shortly. The next focus for that detox program is going to be eczema. So we're going to be focusing on eczema. A lot of people have eczema. Weeping eczema, which means the wet kind, like pus filling up on the hands in different places, or dry eczema where the skin's super extra dry because internally you're super dehydrated. Both are gut issues that need to be corrected. You need to clean up the inner terrain. We got some work to do with that liver. Like, there's work to be done, but you got to detox. You got to clean up your body. You got to make sure you're absorbing. You got to make sure that colon is cleansed. Like, there's so many components. It's not just putting creams with essential oils on top of your skin and think you're doing something. You're not even scratching the surface. All right. So I love you guys, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now. Be sure to share this video out with friends, families, your sisters, your brothers, your aunts, uncles, cousins, grandma, grandpa, whomever. Make sure you share this video far and wide. Thank you so much for being here. Bye for now.